like 375 pounds. He was fighting all the kickboxers, solid muscle, with abs.
Yes,
Fight fans, welcome back.
how would they like me to fight him? Can I fight him under the market of Queensberry rule?
As I said before, if we fight in the market of Queensberry, I love challenge from Mike Tyson. What do you have to say?
Regardless of whether you considered Fury Ngannou as
The baddest man on the planet,
is something that has attracted a widespread combat audience for generations.
Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract.
So much so that for circumstances,
And his opponent across the ring, really needing no introduction the world over.
Planet, coined during the 80s and 90s, nearly fought a beast to a Motivedia presentation.
You may meet the right one or the left one.
When he stepped into the ring, you had to watch, not just for the raw power, but for the unexplained behavior.
Do you feel as though you'll be able to?
It was a feud dating back 2 decades ago, and whilst it almost reignited in 2020,
But somebody said, would you fight this guy for like 40 million, 30 million bucks?
nostalgic exhibition bout,
So it was Bob Sapp was the first one that was brought up.
Yeah, and so from him to somebody else and another.
To kind of say that he was going to fight me because he was. But when he said his manager knows what happened, and everybody knows what happened.
backs following Bob Sapp's K1 Road to Redemption victory against UFC superstar Kimo Leopoldo. She'll fight in itself, but all quickly forgotten as boxing's baddest man appeared through the ropes.
See it in Tyson's face when he's staring him down. There's this crazy, he's following him everywhere he goes, like a predator, dude.
An aura-destroying loss to Krokop 5 months prior. Sapp needed to prove he was still feared and still fearless. A better way of doing so than to confront combat sport's most dangerous ticking time bomb. Barely flinching as Sapp's glove touched her,
Hey, they may call you Kid Dynamite. You mess with me, I'll put your fuse out.
as, with a wry smile and that famous quote, a verbal
Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract.
And I'll put you back in.
very few people in their Tyson. But Bob Sapp is no renamed the beast for good reason. His size, power, and physical presence had taken combat sports by storm. He put that in perspective. Lesnar and Overeem weighed 263 and 266.
This big scary beast, I'm going to chop him down. I'm going to bring him titles back to Britain, no doubt about it.
Paper darts against him.
375 with abs.
Yeah, Jesus.
375. Like if you stand next to him, you just go, wait. What in the are you? What are you? What?
NFL lineman, professional wrestler, kickboxer, actor, Sapp was truly the man of the moment. Of Japan since 2002, he had quickly gained a large following as his pro wrestling and K1.
Enormous. Like it's hard for us to understand. Like they were selling dolls of him and posters, and he was huge.
I'm the most famous in.
match of K1 Grand Prix.
In recent years, K1, the world's most prestigious kickboxing promotion, had shifted their focus towards big, muscular men. Seemingly with very limited
We'll be there, and you're going to see it right there in South Africa when Tyson takes on Francois Botha, the White Buffalo.
So whilst kickboxing was never truly on his experience in the WWE 5 years prior, made him the perfect target for combat sports' latest drama show.
I would say if there was a guy like Rico or some kickboxer who could potentially him up on the way in.
Because I'm fighting.
Just to watch you, the attraction, to watch Mike Tyson.
Talks had been simmering for years, would all tee up nicely for Iron Mike to be present when K1 next arrived in Vegas.
Say about Mike Tyson, what is it that you want?
I want him. K1 rules, boxing rules, or MMA.
Down for what you wanted to be in that ring.
Listen, in all actuality, if I don't go to the Boxing Hall of Fame for my credentials, there shouldn't be a Boxing Hall of Fame.
Whilst he was on a redemption path of his own, the fire, much to the denial of his fans, was slowly burning.
The battle.
Days as an elite fighter were numbered as he fell into a 3-fight losing streak.
He's like a
Bo had been retired for 6 years after struggling with Gulata for the second time.
Big right too. Who's in trouble here? Staggered backwards.
Tolly being stopped by Lewis in the 6th, the week following the Tyson-Sapp confrontation.
They've stopped the fight, and they're going to declare Lewis the winner. They think it was caused by a punch.
Hey, God, you don't touch Mike Tyson, I don't think he's going to touch you back.
year prior, Tyson had suffered, ultimately revealed just how much of a step he'd lost.
You're taking on the most vulnerable event ever. You have Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson is capable of doing anything.
I want to put my hand through his head and his brain. I want
The Brooklynite was comprehensively outboxed, worn down, and then
Tyson goes down. Ernest Lewis cements his legacy as one of the best heavyweight champions of this era.
I would say Mike Tyson matured at 19. I'm really now.
real fighters really never retire. You know, we hang out to the last moment. At least I do. You get as much as you can out of your body.
had Bob Sapp picked the perfect time? Whilst Tyson and his declining skill set looked like an easy pick,
Tyson looking to end this on one punch, Steve. So it's at the end, but he doesn't have that one punch.
what if Bob Sapp had in fact signed the contract to make one of the most controversial fights of the century?
Yet, as we'll see, with doggedly searching for the light of redemption, while haunted by the dark alleys of a past no child ever deserved.
Just like Fury versus Ngannou, critics would have loomed
maybe even more. But you see this smile on my face. I'm watching this. I don't care what anyone says.
But the power and aggression of Tyson.
If you look at any of these boxers, what do I say? I think they should get down and dirty and say, you know what?
I don't know what else to tell you. Sure, you know, I know how to fight. I go there and fight.
And the clash of characters at face-offs and press conferences would have been a spectacle.
I heard him say to Shelley Finkel and his manager, well, we sold more tickets, didn't we? That's how he thinks.
On paper, version of Mike used to enjoy systematically breaking down taller fighters.
Mike Tyson is the only heavyweight out there who says, I can lick any man in the house.
Peekaboo style and vicious combination punching.
Who in this world has any chance against this man?
We're all roughly the same height as Sapp.
This one is over.
Let's talk for just a moment about Mike Tyson. He's a guy, and everyone has said this, including yourself.
Because nobody can get close to me. They're not even close. I'm the best fighter in the world.
This crowd rose as one and gave him the phenomenon is still alive.
In Pride 21, one of Bob's first MMA contests, size.
God bless. Thank you. A big target. Will he try to make Tyson?
On this occasion, despite catching the giant on the way in, Tamura was overwhelmed and blasted away in just 11 seconds.
All Mike got to do is land is one. All I got to do is land one.
We've seen plenty of times, especially recent boxing stamina.
There's no doubt that Connor's got an excellent chin. I have a feeling that a lot of this is down to fatigue.
And so the longer it went in a box,
For my ego, but there's some guys you have to kill them to beat them.
1 or 2 rounds at best, to try and overwhelm the smaller man. And whilst his lack of technique might have made him a slightly trickier customer, he would all of Mike's opponents, meaning openings would be plentiful.
There's no let up in him. He's just unloading everything. Whole body right now.
Mike would need to land first against a bull-rushing 350-pound Sapp. Every second spent in the clinch, while Sapp took all the physical advantages on paper, speed, power, defense, and the ability to take a punch would all swing Mike's way. To see anything other than a devastating Mike Tyson knockout.
It's like a kick from the heart, and the first one he throws is a left hook, and it's going to be stopped.
Talking a good fight, we feared that he'd fall apart, but he's rammed the words back down everybody's throat and measured up to everything.
A drastic decline for both men, with the fear factor slowly wearing off. Sapp's roller coaster K1 and MMA careers continued for a couple of years before hitting a wall. Embarrassing defeats and media humiliation.
There are people who think you are throwing these fights, that you're coming in to collect a paycheck, you're falling to the mat, you're pretending to be hurt.
Mike would also slump to defeats against Danny Williams and then Kevin McBride in 2005.
I don't think I have it anymore because I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting guts, I don't think, anymore.
Left me, he left Steve Lott, and went over to a man named Don King who got his tentacles into him. And from that point on, he deteriorated noticeably.
Art, which is your artistic and entertainment talent. Open it up and look at the views. Look at the attention that's bringing about through. Look at what the beast is doing for the fans.
It wasn't so Fury Ngannou shows us that the desire and the demand for this kind of fantasy matchup is still alive and well.
Mike, fight me. I will rip your heart out and tear it to shreds.